Hello again, it's a lovely sunny day. It's mid-afternoon and it's quite warm again. It's beginning of August, and the next stage of the Japanese tea house is going to be the patio. I've already put the first post in. I put a mix of aggregate, cement and sand in there. Now the post which creates the foundation will be 3 inches below where the frame will sit. Now this block I've got here is 3 inches, so all I need to do is fit that on top and ensure now that's going to be level with the base. So there you go, you can see. So the patio itself at the front section of the Japanese tea house is going to be around about 120 centimetres deep towards the pond. Around the side it's going to be around about 75 centimetres deep. It's just so I can walk around the back, and the back will be identical. So the two sides 75 centimetre, but the front, so we can sit there by the pond, is going to be 1.2 metres or 120 centimetres wide. That's around about 8 decking planks. For these side sections and rear sections, that'll be around about 5 decking planks, or decking boards I should say. Bear in mind that your own measurements need to be appropriate for the build that you're making. I'm not going to tell you my measurements because the chances are you won't be doing it identical. So before I do start, the only thing I will say is, before you put the foundation post in, just make sure everything is level to your Japanese tea house or your summer house. So without further ado, this is how you create a floating patio. For the left hand foundation post, I've put a metal bar in just to highlight where it needs to go. So all that'll do, I'll just get the post itself, pull that bar out and place it on top of where the centre is. I've put the front patio foundation posts in now, as you can see. Some are still setting. So the next stage is to do the side foundation posts. So I'm going to get 90 degrees. We've got a straight edge all the way down. I can see that's 90 degrees. And from that point to the centre, this outer post is 55 centimetres. Can you see? There you go, 55 centimetres. So I'm going to put a post all the way down there, 55 centimetres away from the bottom of the tea house. I've finished the side foundation posts as well as the front foundation posts. I'm leaving the rear one for the time being. But what I did was to dig down between 12 and 18 inches below the surface, put the 4x4 wooden post in, ensured they're all level, and then filled with a concrete mix of aggregate, sand and cement. Now I'm going to leave them for 28 days. Now I'm sure in the United States the regulations for a house decking is much deeper, but this is just a tea house, a garden tea house, and the decking itself is going to be floating, and I'll show you what I mean by floating later in the video. But anyway, the posts are down, so what I've got to start doing next is to put a drain channel in just underneath the decking. What I've done to create the French drain is to dig a V just below the deck, and I've slanted it outwards to the right side from the centre, and there's a slight incline, just a small one, and I'll do exactly from the centre, just opposite down that way to the rear of the tea house. And you can see there's quite a bit of a dip, so down the bottom of the dip I'm going to have a couple of water butts and collect all the water that falls off the roof. So the next stage is going to be, I'll just dig that straight edge out I've used for the incline, pack it right down, make sure I've got a nice little trough there where the water can flow. Then I'll put a waterproof membrane just underneath that. Then I've got some perforated pipe to go on top, and I'll show you that later. It hasn't arrived just yet. I'm hoping that'll arrive tomorrow, and in which time I should have the trough all around the tea house. There we go, slightly pointing downwards to the left, allowing the water to trickle free down into the drain. Okie dokie. So I've laid the sark down, as you can see. Sark it is actually a roofing membrane, and it's actually quite waterproof. I've got it left over, so I've used it for the French drain. Now I didn't have much left, I had enough just for two sides. So What I have got left over, other than the socket, is this insulation membrane that went inside the tea house, just behind those panels. So it's actually used as a insulation membrane. However, one side doesn't let water in and the other side does. What I have purchased is some weed control. It's just a membrane basically. You put it on the ground and weeds can't grow through it, but it's not waterproof. However, my thinking is, once I put that on top, on the non-breathable side of that weed control fabric, it should be waterproof to such a degree that when it is raining, most of that rain will drip through into the French drain and go behind into a water butt that I'm going to put down there, which is far lower than the tea house itself. So I should have enough depth down here to put a water butt. I'll dig a hole if necessary, then all that rain that hits the roof will be collected in there, and I can use that to either top up the pond, which is going to be in front of the tea house, or to water the garden in dry periods. So let's see if it works. The weather resistant side of this membrane is the silver side. The breathable side is underneath it. You can just see it there is the white side, so that's breathable, and the top side is water resistant or weather resistant. Bear in mind that doesn't make it waterproof. It's a bit like Gore-Tex. Eventually if you soak it, it will soak through. However, for this French drain it should be okay, because the minute the rain falls, it is on a downward incline, so that rain should fall through the French drain and into the water butt. I've been waiting for the perforated pipe to arrive for the French drain. It's going to be delayed about a day, so what I've decided to do is fit the decking joists, and this is what I'm doing. I haven't attached it to the tea house. It's going to be floating, so if there's any subsidence in the tea house, bearing in mind it's been in place for 12 months now, it should be well settled, that if it does move down it shan't take the decking with it, and the decking will also give me an indication as to whether there's any subsidence taking place. So that's as far as I'm going to go now with the front base frame for the patio. or the decking I should say. So the next thing I'm going to start doing is putting the French drain in. The piping has arrived, as you can see just over there in the corner. So I'm going to lay it just down there, but before I do it I'm going to double check that the runway for the rain actually works. I just want to make sure it goes from the centre point to the left and to the right before I lay the pipe. So let's see which way it goes. It's round about the centre point. And bingo bango! That works. Yep. So drainage pipe is totally different to pond pipe, even though it's corrugated, in that it's perforated all the way round. So if you can just look just around it, you'll see equal spacing, those little perforations, the holes, and they go around the full circumference. So that's why it's important to have that little trough just down there, as you can see it, where the water can accumulate and then seep into the pipe. That's the channel drain pipe put in place. So all I need to do now is put gravel all the way around it. I've got 20mm gravel, just to weight it down and push it firmly to the base of that trough. What I've ended up doing, because the pipe was riding up every time I put the gravel down, is to put some brick just on top of the pipe to weigh it down, so when I do put the gravel down it doesn't lift it. So there you go, seems to have done the trick. So all I need to do now is just work it all the way around the tea house. Rightio, so the next step is to secure the ledger board, which is simply just some decking, against the posts, and you can see there's a gap here, and that'll help to secure the post in place. I'll put some packing either side of the post, there and there, screw them in, and that post there will be absolutely square and secure. So there you go, post secured in. So there is just a little bit of movement there, not a great deal. But once I put the decking down just here, that'll stop the snoggings here from moving a little bit and keep it absolutely secure and free from movement. So I'm putting the posts at the front part of the decking. Post structure is similar to the side, completely boxed in, and when I've got the ledger in front just there, that'll completely lock it into place to minimise the movement. Lastly, for this video, this is where I'm up to. I've pretty much done the decking at the front, including the posts. I can't say I've completed the left hand side of the decking, but it's almost done. And I've yet to start the right hand side. However, as you can see, I have done the French drain, and all that needs to be done is to put the subframe down, and then of course the decking itself. Anyway, that's it for this one. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Please like or dislike if you wish. But in the meantime, happy ponding, happy gardening, and happy DIY.